There are many different ways to separate mixtures. For example, sieving. It can separate large particles from small particles. For example, separating sand from rocks. The mixture is shaken through and the sand passes through the small holes, while the rocks remain at the top. Another method is filtration. It can separate solids that are insoluble from a liquid. The apparatus is made up of filter paper, the funnel, and a flask. So, if we want to separate sand from water, sand gathers in the filter paper, and water passes through, as you see, going into the beaker through the funnel. The funnel channels the water into the flask, and the flask gathers the water after filtration. And here we are separating sand, solid, from liquid, which is water, and one condition is that the solid is insoluble from a liquid. A third way is evaporation, and we use it when we want to separate solids that are soluble in a liquid. For example, salty water. It contains salt and water. What we do is that we heat the salt water by a Bunsen burner so it boils and turns into steam. So water evaporates into the air, leaving only salt. Condensation is when water vapor changes into liquid water, so from gas to liquid. We heat the water so that it boils and turns into steam. This steam then hits the cold surface and it condenses into water droplets that are collected in this beaker. Chromatography can separate different color dyes. We have the chromatography paper, and the solvent contains all what we want to separate. The paper is placed in the solvent, which soaks up to the ink spots. The solvent soaks up to the ink, and each color seeps upward at a different rate. So we separated the colored dyes. And finally, distillation. We use it to separate a solvent from a solution. This flask contains a mixture of liquid, and the liquid is heated from below and it boils. The water in the mixture evaporates, leaving the remainder. This orange condenser is where the steam condenses into the tube, so it turns into liquid and then it's collected in the beaker. Pure distilled water is collected in the beaker. And this is distillation, where we separate a solvent from a solution.